Hello! So, a 1-1 draw at Napoli. I think you'll all agree it's a good result to take back to Camp Nou, but it was definitely a disappointing performance. And we'll also have to face a second leg without Busquets and Vidal, who'll both be suspended. There were a couple of surprises to Quique Setien's lineup. Samuel Umtiti was preferred over Clement Lenglet in defence, and Rakitic played in midfield over Arthur Melo. We played with four midfielders because Arturo Vidal also played on the right this time in a similar role to how he played against Eibar, but against Eibar he was on the left, and just Griezmann and Messi as forwards. The first half was pretty dreadful. Possession, no penetration. The only shot was from Messi after about 9 minutes, which went over the bar. A couple of crosses, really poor to watch. Napoli sat back, waited, compact, and they hit us on the break, of course. Mistake from Junior Firpo, and it's 1-0 to Napoli. The second half was an improvement. Napoli's intensity dropped, so Barça began to find a few more spaces. We saw a little bit more of Messi, and of course we got the equalisers through Antoine Griezmann. Okay, so let's now look at players individually, starting with Ter Stegen. Quite a quiet game for the German goalkeeper. Only had about 4 saves to make, the best being from Jose Callejon in the 63rd minute, where he was incredibly quick off his line to shut down the space. Really couldn't do anything with the goal. Great shot from Mertens. But I'd say Ter Stegen was probably our best player on the night. I'd give him a 7 out of 10. At right back we had Nelson Semedo, who defensively suffered a little bit against Insigne. There was that awful moment near the end where Napoli had a corner and Semedo turned his back on the ball. It reminded us all of Liverpool's 4th goal last year in the semi-final. Ter Stegen gave him a big bollocking, but that was concerning. Going forward, wasn't much space for him, but at least he tried to get forward, and then of course he got Busquets' pass to set up Griezmann for the equaliser. So overall, not bad. I'd give him a 6. At left back we had Junior Firpo, who unfortunately had a bit of a stinker. He gave away the ball for Napoli's goal and failed to offer anything going forward, really. Napoli left him lots of space, and there were times you were thinking, why doesn't he attack the space and give someone an option to pass the ball into the space? But the only time he got the ball, it was to his feet. Never took on his man, always played it back inside. Very disappointing. I'd give him a 4. Moving on to the central defenders, Gerard Piqué had quite an easy game. He had a good challenge on Mertens in the first half, and in the second half he allowed Insigne to get past him on the right once. But generally very easy game, lots of passes to the side. I'd give him a 6 out of 10. Samuel Umtiti was preferred over Lenglet, which was a bit controversial. I think Lenglet is probably a bit more dependable, but Umtiti had a solid game. Didn't have a great deal to do in defence. Couldn't do much in the goal. There was one challenge he missed near the end, which led to Napoli winning a corner. In attack, he had a header over from a corner, beating a spinner to the ball. I'll give him a 6 out of 10 too. Okay, moving on to midfield. Sergi Busquets actually won the man of the match. A little bit surprising for me. He was solid. Again, passed a lot to the sides, but probably the only player tried to put a ball through. Tried one for Semedo in the first half, which didn't come off, but then he gave a peach of a pass in the second half. Disguised it well, put Semedo through, and Semedo set up Griezmann for the equaliser. On the negative side, he picked up a yellow card for a high foot challenge. which will see him miss the second leg. Overall, I'd give him a 6 out of 10. Now, I know a lot of people were critical with Ivan Rakitic's inclusion in the side. A lot of people would have liked to have seen Arthur Melo. Personally, I was happy to see Rakitic in the team, but he was disappointing. He tried a combination with Messi in the first half to get into the area, but it didn't come off. Didn't really see much of him. Tried one low cross from the right that was deflected through to the goalkeeper, and then he was subbed off in the 55th minute for Arthur. So for Rakitic, it's just a disappointing 5. On the left of midfield, we have Frankie de Jong. Another disappointing game. Didn't really get too involved until the second half. We saw him a couple of times making those surging run forward we want to see more of. Both times it came to nothing. We really need more from him. I'd give him a 5. Arturo Vidal, who played wide on the right, was active as always, but somewhat ineffective. Perhaps he was the player who tried to combine most with Messi. In the second half, he set up Messi almost for a second goal, where in the play where Messi got the yellow card. Ended up being sent off for a silly incident. I mean, the foul is one thing, but responding to the provocation of a guy putting his face in your face, well, I think he deserved the second yellow, and we'll miss him for the second leg. Overall, I'd give him a 6 out of 10. Well, there was a lot expected of Leo Messi playing in the stadium that was home to Diego Maradona for his best years at club level. Maybe the pressure got on top of him because he didn't have his best game. Rather ineffective. His only moment of brilliance really came around the 64th minute when a change of pace got him through, fed the ball to Vidal and went for the return. Ended up putting his boot into Ospina's chest, which earned him a yellow card. Towards the end, we saw a little bit more of him, but Napoli managed to close him down every time he tried to dribble through. Not his best game. I'd give him a 6 out of 10. Antoine Griezmann had a very quiet game. In the first half, he hardly touched the ball at all, but there he was to score the goal, the important away goal that gives us all hope for the second leg. He only had the one chance, he put it away. We talked about his finishing the other day. He's a great finisher, and this is why we bought him, for goals like this. Again, not a great performance, but the goal was all important. I'd give him a 6 out of 10. On to the substitutes. We had Arthur Melo came on for Rakitic in the 55th minute. Didn't see a lot of him. Moved the ball on quickly as usual. Near the end, he had one shot from distance which went well over the bar. I think I'd give him a 6 out of 10 as well. Ansu Fati came on late on for Griezmann. Not enough time to give him a mark really. The same goes for Clement Lenglet, who came on for the injured Piqué, which I should have mentioned earlier. Piqué got an ankle injury. We don't know the extent of it yet, but it's obviously worrying with the Clasico coming up on Sunday. So overall, the result was positive. The performance was negative. Maybe we should be patient. Maybe we shouldn't expect too much in these games. It was a very hostile atmosphere in the Napoli stadium. Difficult place to go, and it was to play against a team that set up like they did was obviously going to be difficult. We didn't need to go crazy. It was the first game. We were away from home. We've only won one away knockout stage game in about 5 years. A game at Man United last year. So perhaps we shouldn't expect too much. As I said in the previous video, my worry was that we'd get a heavy defeat, and we avoided that, and we're obviously now clear favourites to go through in the second leg. But a very disappointing performance, and you ask yourself, if you're coming up against a team like this, how do you break down a compact 4-4-2 defence like this? And you might say, well, you could shoot from long distance, or play 1-2 through the middle and things, but basically the space is on the wings. So you need to get the ball out wide But then our problem is we don't have a target man. You know, there's no point putting in high crosses when you're aiming at Leo Messi, Griezmann and Vidal. Even though all of them can use their head, it's not the best tactic. So if you get the ball wide, you need to play in low crosses, preferably, you know, pulling the ball back. That's the way you can turn a defence. And we saw that in the goal. Busquets put the ball through to Semedo, low cross, pull back to Griezmann, and a great finish. I don't know why we couldn't do it more often. Anyway, that's all for today. I'll be back on Friday with another video where we'll be looking at the Clásico, Real Madrid against Barça, coming up on Sunday. So, hope to see you then. Visca Barça.